Counterfeit culture is evolving. Knockoffs are more prominent today than ever because designer brands are becoming more desirable among younger people. Knockoff goods can be anything from a clothing item made with another brand's trademark print to a specific designer item remade with lower quality materials and sold as an imitation. Knockoffs are important to understand because quite often consumers don't know or can't comprehend the detriment to real designer brands when they purchase a knockoff good. Although these goods are not the worst thing a person can buy, they are a detriment to the brand being knocked off. When a consumer chooses to invest in a luxury designer item, they are investing in every piece of creativity and livelihood that went into the years of creating that piece. When there are less than satisfactory replica items on the market, it devalues the true designer good and gives the brand a bad reputation. I conducted some interviews to see if my peers came to the same conclusions.
How do you feel, when you see a knockoff designer good?
When I see a knockoff designer good, I get a little bit angry. Not in a rage, but just if you can't spring for the real thing, I feel like it's an insult to the designer to buy something that's knocked off.
I don't like it because it makes the real thing less appealing to me, and I don't support that.
And how do you think knockoff goods affect the perception or value of the actual designer brand?
I think that it affects it obviously very negatively. When it comes to designer goods, you're not just paying for that good, but you're paying for that designer's experience and their hand in the design and their original drawing, their original concepts that got put into it. So when you buy a knockoff good, it just really devalues all their work that they've put into it.
It decreases the overall appeal of it because more people have it, and I think luxury things should be purchased by people who are interested in it rather than just are buying it because it's a style.
Knockoff goods are everywhere, and this problem is very tricky to solve. This is because one of the biggest challenges in the luxury fashion industry is intellectual property rights. While a certain brand may be first to do a design, it is extremely difficult to trademark a designer pattern, and this is why knockoff goods are so difficult to challenge. In order to solve this problem, stricter laws and penalties should be enforced upon knockoff good manufacturers and distributors. Preserving the good name of high-end designers is extremely important to preserving luxury fashion as an industry, and without the proper steps, the industry will begin to crumble. Many of these fashion houses have been around since the early 1800s and early 1900s, and it would be a tragedy to see them deteriorate due to an influx of knockoff designer goods. Because I do feel so strongly about this issue, it felt really good to know that 9 times out of 10 my peers held the same views as I did. It was a little disappointing to find out that one of the biggest issues surrounding knockoff goods was the lack of intellectual property rights that these large designers have, which means that until the public stops the demand for knockoff goods, they will continue to be produced. Unfortunately, this means that it's entirely up to the government to enforce stricter laws and regulations on the manufacturing and distributing of these goods. So until that happens, unfortunately, the public will have to deal with having knockoff designer goods.